And my guess is without Jason, it might be a short meeting too, because I
Yeah.
haven't done anything this week, this month.
I've been trying to play around with the Koha API, but
Cool.
I used Postman to like make calls and stuff like that, but I'm not able to do some of the calls, and I'm wondering if it's like a limitation of the client that I'm using because I know that um, some clients can't they don't support putting a body in a GET request. So like some of the Koha API, like some of the more cooler things that you can do with like filtering the results, you have to put a like a query filter in the body of the GET request, but then some um, clients don't allow you to put a body in the GET request. So it's a little bit like I'm trying to figure that out.
When you say clients, do you mean like Postman?
Yeah, like Postman, I'm guessing maybe doesn't support it. It's like weird. It's like kind of vague in the spec. Like it's not recommended to put a body in a in a GET request
Right.
because universally there's no like expected behavior that the server will do. It's totally up to the way the server's implemented. So I'm, I'm playing around with different ways of being able to make calls to the API.
I
Maybe
see.
not using Postman.
I should probably use Postman more, but I don't. I always still just like formulate a curl request when I'm testing things. I don't know if that's any easier to like do what you're saying in the body, but
With Postman is cool because it actually there's a thing like you click a button and it makes the curl command for you.
oh, yeah, cool.
Um, yeah. I mean, maybe I could share my Postman screen if
Yeah,
we don't have anything else to share.
yeah, do it.
And I'm also trying to do it using Node. Um,
Um,
but that one I'm a little bit stuck there too. I think I can share this Postman example. Um, yeah. So do just one screen. Can you see my screen?
yes.
Okay, so this is Postman. I don't know it very well. I'm just kind of like learning it, but you can have collections. So I'm doing like Koha requests to our Koha, or like I made a separate one for requesting to KTD, and um, you can like change the environment that you're in. So you can set up like this has my base URL there. You can put in variables and stuff like that, and then access them in the collection. In the collection, you can put all your information about, like you can have these environment. Oops, don't look at that. Um, you can put the environment variables in here so that you can uh, generate a token. And then once you do that, you can use the token for all these calls, and you can just kind of like look at the Koha API documentation, and I'm trying to think of a good one to use for an example. So like get biblios ID. If I send, this is one that's just going to get the data for a biblio with an ID, but I'm getting this, which is what I read like a blog article that Lucas wrote a few years ago that's like says that this is the right thing to do, but then you need to like process that um,
This
response
one,
more.
for this route, you need something else in your header.
Oh, okay.
Um, it's a you need to it's marc-in-json. So let me see. How do I let me find an example and
Okay.
let you know.
Yeah, I saw something like that. So like this under accept.
Yeah, accepts you should accept this. Let me just paste this in. Um,
This one right here, I'm guessing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the one I usually want because that will give me the JSON mark blob.
Okay, so I do accept and then
Uh,
this.
yeah, I think that should do. Yeah, and then I think maybe you have to check that
Oh yeah,
on the left.
then send that. Okay. Okay, so
Okay,
that
so
was
now you have a mark object
so
in
that's
JSON.
much okay. That was one question that I was having trouble with. And then the other one, like if you just do get biblios, I wanted to figure out like so I can put these parameters um for the page. I'm not sure like order by is supposed to be an array of strings, so it would be like I'm not exactly sure how to do it, but it would be like an array of strings, I guess, like title or something.
Yeah, let me also see if I can pull a good example there. Because you want to, yeah, okay, order by. Um,
Because this is one that um I think this is what you need to send in the body to do like a I'm not actually sure if this goes in the body or does this go as a parameter or it could be either. Um,
not, I'm not sure.
but when I was doing this one, I was just getting like I'd either get 500s or sometimes I was getting 406.
But did that depend on what you were trying to order by?
Yeah, I think part of the issue maybe is I have these I'm pretty sure these top ones are good. I wasn't really sure about how to do the order by.
Do you need should you use the brackets in your order by? Or should,
I only so I think when it actually sends this, it encodes this to be like if you click here, this is the cool thing about Postman is you click on you can like build your requests and then you click on this button and it shows you like what the curl command would look like.
that's cool.
Yeah, so it does like it encodes it here, but I think it leaves it like in plain text here so that you can see what it is. So yeah, I've just been trying to mess around with. Some of them are more straightforward than others. Like the biblio items. I can get that. That one just works easily. And it's like an array of objects.
Yeah, that one's
Uh,
kind of a lot easier to work with. You don't have to pass in
yeah,
much in the headers or um
I want to be able to maybe like do searching, like to be able to do like catalog searching and get results like that. I think that would be kind of cool. And then being able to maybe using the maybe using some filters on this, like you could possibly filter like to get like your most checked out items or checked out bibs. I'm just trying to figure out like different
yeah,
things to use it for.
because is there a like number of checkouts or something
In
like
the
that in there?
Yeah, in the items there is checkout counts. And then the bibs, well, I haven't been able to get a list of bibs yet, but anyways, that's all I've been messing
There's a way
around
to
with.
do that. I don't know if the time because you could just on top of what you on the URL you have there, if you add like a query parameter q equals, and then I'll have to mess with that and send you something later, but you can use greater than or equal signs and like order things that way
And,
by like
and
that particular piece of data checkout underscore count. Um,
Yeah, I
but
didn't
I always forget how to do that, and I have to
maybe I can
like
show.
go
Oh yeah,
remind
my
myself.
I think I made one here where so like this is like an example of a filter for patrons for KTD. And the Koha documentation has some other examples, which is pretty cool about like how those filters work. So oh yeah, you could do like something like this. I think that getting that header in the bib one is going to be a big help. I think that's probably part of my reason I was struggling. But you could do something like this. So I'm assuming like
Yeah.
for the bib one, you could use one of the field names and then do like maybe. I have to figure out how to do this one.
Yeah, I
So
would just play with like what you had there and see if you return anything or not. Return what you want.
cool. And then it's not very good, but I have something else I could show what I'm trying to do at least. Can figure out how to do this.
Yes, sometimes I do something like this is just a pretty basic example, but and it's encoded, but
Okay, yeah.
where I'm just
So
like
you can
pass the
send the
biblio ID and I only want biblio 144.
yeah. Okay. Copy.
Then like I always look to see how we do it somewhere else in Koha. So I just found the like basketheaders.tt file. Here, I don't know how this is gonna look in Zoom chat, but you see how that query is a variable and then it's stringified JSON for like name and it does the like thing like you just showed
Yeah.
and also order by.
Okay, cool.
I'm always just, stealing code that's already in Koha. So I just
Yeah, I like.
found that here. So might help you just like formulate it right.
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing when they're Ajax requests, I guess.
Right.
I'm doing a similar thing for kind of getting the. I just got the authentication part working, but I need to um, do more. But maybe I can share that too. Let's see. So this is like a blog that I started like a year ago and I kind of stopped doing it, but I wanted to try to like use it as a just a way to learn how to how to do like the API authentication and handle those asynchronous requests. So this is like a basically it runs in Node during it's a static site generator called VitePress and it has a build process. So then during the build process, this file would like return data that then you can use the data that it returns on the front end somewhere. So I was thinking like maybe to do like book lists or like um, maybe even if you want to do like a library website and you wanted to like display all of your branches, but instead of like hard coding it or putting it into a CMS, you could pull it all out of the API. Um, so this sort of works so far. Like I have all the client ID, client secret, base URL in environment variables, and then it constructs the headers for that, and then some stuff that doesn't work. And then this function basically it should return the data that can be accessed on the front end. So then you could like in the front end you could loop through all your array of data and render it however you want. But that's the part I'm kind of getting stuck on with the right now I'm getting the data like this when this page loads. Um, but I'm having trouble like returning this. It's not returning the data that I would expect. It's returning like to the a promise of the response.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of getting stuck on that part. But that's all. Couple experiments. Nothing actually works.
So what's returning what you want? Console log text?
Yeah, this one, which is, it's not this is just getting the first one because this would be like this is just doing like an items, a hard-coded
Yeah.
items just for an example. So this first so the way it works is this is getting the token. Um, it's a returns a promise, and then that JSON object, it looks basically like it just has JSON dot like it's just a JavaScript object with token type. It's the bearer. This just says bearer basically.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
this one is the actual token. So this part works. This is the actual token that you get from the like when you authenticate to the API. Um, um, and then yeah, and then this is, you know, creating a new URL because you have to make a request to the after you get the token. So this part gets the token, and then this part um, makes a request to like another URL in the API. And it's
Right.
returning properly like this data that looks like it makes sense for this particular item. And then the next step will be basically to get that. For some reason, this is not the way to do it. I thought this would be how you do it. I
You
guess,
mean that last line 60?
yeah, what's confusing, I guess, is like this is like pretty standard. This load function is a particular thing in VPress that
Uh-huh.
wants you to return um, it wants you to return a JSON object.
It doesn't want you to uh return text or
I think it stringifies it for you. If you can send a plain object like this works if you just return like a plain object like this,
Mhm.
it stringifies it and it's only returning it to itself somewhere else in the this file runs like on the back end and then it returns it to the front end. You can get it on the front end. Anyways, hopefully I'll be able to share something that's more working in the future.
Sounds cool.
I was
Hello,
hi.
this is Janice with the Department of Archives and History in Jackson, Mississippi.
Hi, Janice.
I
Hi,
have
Janice.
hello, I have a question about Google Analytics. Before we moved to GA4, I had the code in the OPAC user JS and the intranet user JS, but now we have new code since we moved to GA4.
Okay.
Does that information go back in there or it goes somewhere different?
You
The new
know,
code.
I've done this several times for partners. I don't remember the versions of Google Analytics off the top of my head, but I think I prefer, this is for your OPAC, I'm assuming.
Yes.
I prefer to put that information not in OPAC user JS, but as in script tags inside one of the HTML customizations. The one I like is OPAC credits.
OPAC credits, okay.
I usually make a single entry just for the Google Analytics stuff, label it as such, and then put the code in there inside of script tags.
Okay. All right, I will give it a try.
If you have problems, Janice, Bywater will help you out with that. So just put a ticket in.
Okay, thank you.
If you do put a ticket in, be sure and say, hey, ask Lucas. He's the one that told me to put a ticket in.
I will. This may not be the right place, but the problem that we received the email about from Rackspace, has that been resolved? I mean, we received a ticket saying that they had things working, but I wasn't still quite sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't know either. So yeah,
Okay,
you're right. This is probably not the place. So sorry.
all right. That's all right, thanks.
I am here for the keywords, so thank you for going through everything.
I'll share something. I had a bug I worked on last Friday that was pretty exciting to me. We get lots of requests for, custom fields and custom XSLT. We tend not to like to go down that road because you have to always rebase XSLT on top of community changes, and it just becomes a lot of work. This one adds a system preference. That's the template toolkit system preference to allow you to like add custom mark fields to your display. Just thought that was cool. Wanted to share.
That is cool. I really can't stand the XSLT customization because it's so complicated, and as soon as you make a change, then you're stuck with it. Yeah. So I pretty much
Yeah.
abandoned the customized XSLT because it's so hard to deal with. So
Yeah, agreed. And also like troubleshooting and debugging XSLT is a kind of a nightmare. So this would turn it into, it's still not the easiest for everybody, but template toolkit to me is a lot easier and makes a lot more sense than XSLT. And you don't have to switch off of the community XSLT style sheet if we had this. Just add your new mark fields as you like.
What's the bug number for that, Lucas?
I put it in chat. It's 39860. It's failed QA for some reasons, but and it's a system preference right now, but I think I might change it into like a HTML customization type thing instead of a system preference. Make it translatable. But yeah, just thought I'd share.
Cool.
Thanks for having me, guys. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheers. Well, I'm surprised we even made it 30 minutes without Jason.
Jason and Barbara are kind of the workhorses of this meeting.
Yeah, totally. Does anybody else have anything else they want to share?
Most of the stuff I've been doing lately is in Aspen and non-development related stuff.
I have another question. This is about, I put a ticket in about this and she said there was a bug. We have migrated to, 24/11/03, and we have a hyperlink in our public notes field in the items. But now you see the HTML code, you don't see the hyperlink.
That's
And
in
so-
is that in your holdings table?
Yes.
Yeah. I assume that's because I think you jumped a couple versions to get to 24/11.
I think we did.
I don't know the bug number off the top of my head. Let me see if I can find it. But at some point, I think it was 24.
I think it's 39. Well, I'm looking at what she put in the ticket, 39718.
397. Oh yeah. So in 2405, that table underwent significant changes, and they started using the REST API to build the holdings table. Makes it
Okay.
look like a lot faster. But I don't think this was considered when we do that. that sometimes in our public note fields, we might actually have HTML.
Okay,
Looks like I filed the bug you just cited.
Did you put the bug in the link to the bug? Because I just got an error message when I tried to look up that number.
yeah, it's this one right here.
Yeah, I get a message that says you are not authorized to access this bug.
Oh, let's
That's
see.
weird.
Yeah, this one, I didn't file it as such, but somebody moved it into security. So
That
that's
makes
in
sense then.
security. Not that we can't talk about it. It is a security issue because
Right.
potentially if you can inject HTML, you could inject things like script tags and do malicious things.
okay,
So the short one of that, Janice, is technically the fix would be easy, but it's marked as in discussion right now because of the security implications of doing that.
okay.
And so I think we need a way to since it's through the REST API now and that note's inserted with like JavaScript, we need a way to maybe filter what we consider safe HTML in
Okay,
while disallowing unsafe stuff like script tags.
okay,
Yeah, so the short answer is like it's a little bit complicated and probably won't be fixed quickly. These things
okay,
unfortunately tend to sort of languish in discussion.
okay. Thank you.
I think there might be a workaround because this happened years ago to the notes in the reports. And Michael Cabus, that's how long ago it was, wrote some jQuery for me that adds a function called toHTML. And so you find the area where you want HTML to appear, and then you use JavaScript to put that function into that field.
It's true. You could fairly easily use some jQuery to
It's a
take the-
workaround, but it works.
Yeah. I feel like I filed this bug or a similar bug like in reports or somewhere else in Koha about 10 times in my life, and it always ends up in discussion.
Right.
Well, that's all I had.
Me too.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Guess we're
I'll
done.
see you all later.
I'm ready to.
Yeah. Cheers all.
Well, I need to talk to Jason, so now I gotta phone him or something.
Jason.
Good luck.
See you later.
Bye.